so much for joining us. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. Joining us once again at CED. We're here presenting tonight's Miracle Mile, Halloween 2013. Temporary objects, other wacky wonders. Right from the get-go, I feel like I should probably introduce my panelists here. To my far left, I've got Paul Jupiter.
Good evening. Good evening, Tyler. Good evening, Dinosaur.
And in the middle here, we got the dinosaur. Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Paul Jupiter, and I'm right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You know, I'm a father of one. Going to be a second one on the way here, and
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you very much. I work in the transportation industry and enjoy it.
Clearly.
Yes, in many different ways, but I enjoy it here on Earth. I enjoy, you know, the surroundings and the place, but as you can see, I do have.
And how long have you been an astronaut for?
Well, not long enough to figure out how to work a mic, but
All right, that's all right. And Dinosaur, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm also from Grand Rapids, but I've been here a bit longer. I think I know the scenery a little bit better than the two of you probably do, but
fair enough.
I don't really have much to say about my background. I think
Not
you've
much
heard
to say
enough.
about your background.
The
Well,
media
you've
stuff.
probably seen a lot in your 65 million years or so.
That's actually pretty accurate, yeah.
I want to get stuff kicked off tonight. We're going to be running a little bit of the gamut here, going a little bit all over the place. Some of it's going to be familiar, some of it won't be quite so familiar. Thank you, Paul. The first thing I want to start off with is the details emerging in the ensuing NSA scandal and all the stuff we're finding out from those Snowden files.
Snowden files. Thank you, Snowden.
Mr. Jupiter, I understand that you have been, you've got some thoughts on this?
Oh, indeed, I do. I mean, it's come to light that the NSA is really getting into more than they should right now, and you know what? I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with it? Which part of their mission do you disagree with?
Spying on the civilians.
On their own civilians.
Yes.
And that came to light a couple months ago, and as details have been emerging, has been getting more and more egregious. But you said that you disagree with this. You find this to be
impeding.
Impeding.
Yes.
What is it impeding?
Impeding my privacy, individuality. I could go on, but you know what? We live in a free country, and that doesn't feel free to me.
Doesn't feel free to you?
Nope.
Now, what about the? I'll turn this over to you. This is kind of philosophical, and I know that you like the study of philosophy, the dinosaur. Now, there's a lot of people arguing that now that's no longer in dispute. It used to be the stuff of conspiracy theorists, that the government was listening to your phone calls and they're tapping your email, and people have been kind of fearful of that for a long time. But that's been not really a mainstream view, even in light of the Patriot Act being signed after the events of the early 2000s, which basically set all the groundwork for people to be able to do, or for the government to be able to do that to its own citizens. But now that these the Snowden files have come out, and we've seen kind of just how all-encompassing it's become. What do you find to be? I'm going to move on to the other part, the second part of my thought there. Sorry, I lost track of where I was going with that.
That'll happen. You go around a very large barn, you know. But
You go around a very large barn. We'll get back there. We'll get back there. Recently, it's come out that the NSA has been spying on the personal cellular phone calls of the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel. Yeah.
Angela, I said Andrea.
It's Angela Merkel, it's not Angela Merkel. That's who it is. And obviously, she wasn't too happy about this. Would you say? What do you think about that? Should the United States be spying on their own, or on the governments and the phone calls of allied leaders?
I mean, clearly not, but you really can't stop technology from growing. And obviously, you know, the government of the United States and every government is going to be doing the best they can to protect their citizens, and they take certain liberties when they do that, certain liberties that we wouldn't necessarily grant them. Unfortunately, not everything is left up to us. They don't do voting for things like this. As on the conspiracy side, that you were going down a certain line, and I actually think I know where you're going with that. I think you're going to ask, what does it say that suddenly this thing that at once not a popular idea, conspiracy theory, seems to be a loaded term, and now many things that we suspected to be true are actually coming to light. Yes, our cell phones are being watched, and we do have these other countries that are being spied on. And it's interesting to see the way that the media spins it and says, how do we look at this now that someone has revealed it?
Almost as if you were to look at, if you were to suspect this from going on 10 years ago, and now I think that there are a lot of people out there, myself probably included, that felt really vindicated, is that it had kind of an aha moment, and they kind of went, see, and you see it's on the front page of the paper, and people just kind of kept going on about their lives. What do you think that is?
I think you've got to do it. I mean, I think you've got to be okay with it. And the thing is, you never know what's going on. We have the Facebook, we have the phones. We're always connected to the internet. I think that people have known that there's a possibility that it goes on, and now that we know that it goes on, I don't.
So you think that the fact that it's perception that it's impossible to escape, and sort of an obstacle that's also impossible to fight,
right?
I mean, people just kind of ignore it in one ear and out the other.
I think ignore is kind of a passive way to look at it, but I think that just keep calm and carry on type of attitude is the type of thing that I have been practicing, I suppose. I mean, I could either be miserable thinking about this all day and night, or I could just be more, just continue going about my business, because my business is my business, whether anyone's watching it or not.
Remember the philosophical question that I wanted to ask, and I'll leave it open to either one of you. Is that a common defense of this practice for the people who are defending it is that while your phone calls are being recorded, no one's actually listening to them, and that unless you're really up to something, then what do you have to worry about? And then there's this term being thrown out there, metadata, as in even in certain cases your phone call itself isn't actually being recorded as far as content is concerned, simply who you're calling, how long the call took, and where and when, kind of right there, and to pick up on these patterns that they supposedly turn around and use to fight terrorism by, I'm not sure, I'm not, that's above my pay grade, but does the fact that it's metadata, sorry for the super long-winded question here, the fact that it's a metadata and not actually someone listening in on the line to whatever you've got going hot and heavy at 2 in the morning or whatever. There's a lot of people who think paranoia there, but does that make it any better, I guess?
I mean, does it make it any better? I mean, that's kind of a weird...
Are you any more comfortable, do you think? Does that factor into people's continued, for lack of a better term, kind of active ignorance of the practice?
Well, it kind of goes on this argument. It kind of reminds me of that. Is that they'll say, "Well, if you got nothing to hide, what are you worried about?" And while I understand that, that could be part of it. That is a fair point in saying, well, if they're not even listening to them, are you supposed to just take them by their word? I mean, have they not lied to you before? Have they not lied to you countless times? So you want to just take everything you hear as truth? That seems to be a lot of the problem is what we have today, is that exact thing, in every kind of issue, big topic.
Right. And I remember when they were building, I forget the name of the place, but there's a facility in Utah to store all this data a few years ago. And when these reports first appeared, they were relegated to the seediest parts of the internet, the same places you might find a Sasquatch story or something else to that nature. And it was largely unconfirmed, and the government kept building it, but they didn't know, and people said, well, what is they going to do with all that space? And it holds trillions and trillions of gigabytes of information. And I guess the answer to that question, now that it's science fiction has become science fact, is kind of revealing itself. But anyway, I guess
to say something kind of relatable to that, you brought up conspiracy theory, and just want to touch on that for just a second. And there's so many labels we put on people today that you just can't. You can't fall into those traps. okay, conspiracy theorist, bam, automatically because you think
Yeah,
this,
we'll
you
think
think
bad
that.
about that.
Yep.
Red
I think
yeah.
that's just a label, and we got to get rid of that term. And you cannot end an argument or bring in an argument or a discussion, which is hopefully what it is, or right in the middle, throw out the conspiracy theorist.
Right.
You have to take every single situation as a separate one. So
the thing is, everyone seems to have a certain buzzword that will trigger a negative response in their mind.
Right.
If there's certain, and I mean, the biggest two ones are obviously if you say conservative or liberal, there's going to be, one side or many people in the country will immediately have a negative association with one and a positive association with the other, and it doesn't matter what you label as conservative or what you label as liberal, they're going to have a negative reaction. The same thing goes for conspiracy theorists. If you say, well, this is an idea that is largely associated with people that believe in conspiracies, then there's a lot of people who think of that as paranoid, who think of that as deviant in some way.
yeah,
So, I agree with
exactly. In the age of information that we live in, I mean, not to go too much off track, but just to touch on this while we're here, I just want to touch on that as far as people taking everything word for word. I mean, governments and leaders and powers above have been corrupt for thousands and thousands of years. We need to take a new approach to some of these issues. We need to start figuring it out and collectively and not dividing, putting up dividers. I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. You need to just it's got to start out with this issue. Love, exactly. And that's what I was going to touch on, but you mentioned it, love. And if you start there, you can move on to these topics and not breed hate. Too much hate is bred constantly. It's what you watch on TV. It's what you watch wherever you go. You can't get away from it. So all this hate reading that happens in our society is disgusting, and the only way to fix it is to fight it back with love. Every single person you see, treat them like another human being. Is that too much to ask for? It seems like it is today. You go out on the road, you go out to the grocery store, just a smile and a nod, anyway, just positivity doesn't really exist anymore. And that's something that it's way bigger than politics.
Far bigger,
and it just goes amongst humanity. And we're all one human race. That's got to be the bottom line. You start there, and then you can just nitpick all the differences. My child is 2 years old, almost 3. She doesn't know a black, yellow, red, blue, white. She never has ever said anything like
Probably ought to get on
anything like that. That is all bred through our society and
Right.
media. So when we get past the differences and start to love, we'll be able to start resolving these bigger issues.
Right. And I mean, everyone that you see is someone's son, daughter, mother, father, and uncle.
It's a very good point.
Everyone is a character, everyone has their idiosyncrasies, and everyone has positive and
Look at
negative.
what you have in common with somebody.
Right.
Do the complete opposite of what we're doing wrong. Don't pick out the negative. Look at them and say, you know what? I like their hat. I like their dinosaur costume.
I want to
I
get
like
back
this dinosaur.
from the
Overarching
is that a
transformation.
costume? I thought I was on with a real live dinosaur here.
Yes.
All right, that was lively. I think we got a little bit away from the NSA.
I promised I
line
would,
right
though.
now. I know that's all right though. That's good. I guess we can move a little bit on from there. Do we have the and talk a little bit about the healthcare rollout? Disaster, so to speak, I guess, as they've been saying, things been having a little bit of a hard time with this website, as everybody knows, hasn't really worked all the way for a whole 24-hour period for every person that's got on it since it's come out.
Right.
And one other big issue in the midst of that, a little bit that's gone, I think, less noticed than just the speed bumps with the website, is a lot of people have begun to find out that they, unlike they were promised, aren't able to keep their health care or the coverage that they had from the get-go. Do we have that video? We had 2 videos lined up. The first one showing the president promising throughout his campaign that you'd be able to keep your health care. Is that lined up? That's all right if it's not. Okay.
We got going to blue. And we're back.
Just to add on to that, I know as far as being able to keep your health care, that in all the speeches the president does, and he says things over and over, that was one thing that he kept on saying and kept on saying.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that I think people wanted to hear, needed to hear in order to get on board at all with it, even though it kind of really wasn't ever a full go support all the way through, which you won't get.
Right, and you know, and there's a lot of. What do you guys think about the fact that
It's a
access
justice
to care
issue.
is a justice
It
issue?
is.
Now, what do you see happening with this? That we were told that now everyone was going to have health care and their premiums were going to come down. The average family's premium will go down $2,500 or more or whatever, and that hasn't seemed to happen. It seems like people are actually, at this point in time, are starting to lose their care. Their health care is being thrown into jeopardy, and so the law is kind of having the opposite of its face value. What do you guys make of that?
I mean, I think the bottom line is force, is what people don't want. They don't want to be forced to do something that they don't want to do. And I think that everyone sympathizes with the fact that they want people to be able to have health care. They know that they wouldn't condemn someone to death because they're sick or because they have a condition. But they also don't want anyone to tell them what they have to do. You know, they would want it to become an issue of their justice because now we've given justice to people who didn't have any health care, and now I'm having my justice taken away. That's what the people would say on the other side of the coin, I think.
Okay. I guess I could see that. Mr. Jupiter?
Well, on that one, I pretty much agree with the dinosaur. I can't really state it any better than he just did, and as he did earlier. On the topic.
Doesn't take away from the fact I don't want to
Well,
seem like that's my stand.
There are
I
local
definitely-
reports out of places like, just to bring it closer to home, Fruitport. There was a woman I heard on the radio this morning, and she has gotten a letter from her healthcare provider explaining to her that she was undercovered, and under the new law, she has to go out and buy new coverage or get coverage for more things. Her old coverage was insufficient according to the Affordable Care Act, and now thus her provider wrote her and said, sorry, we are no longer able to provide for you as of January 2014. And this woman needs her health care coverage, and she's gone on, and now her premiums have gone up. Any plan that she wants to buy is increased by 60 or 70%, and she's looking for this federal subsidy,
Yeah.
which you need to get onto the healthcare.gov to sign up for, and she's being rejected. And she's sort of had to take days off work. She can't get on. And I don't know, do you think that they're going to sort that out?
What's happening right now, obviously, is the implementation stage
Sure.
of this business. I mean, the government's a business. We've got to acknowledge that. So they're going through the implementation, and they don't have to have good, thorough, quality stage when you implement. You got to start out with a really good plan, and you got to really work on it and know, well, when this happens, we're going to do this. You got to have a good team involved. And apparently, I don't know. Apparently they hired a Canadian company to handle this, and I don't know why you outsource when we need jobs. Really, we need to keep the money at home. We're going to outsource it to Canada. That doesn't really. I'm sure there were many qualified companies, people.
Sure, Silicon Valley.
Millions of people who live in America, right?
Right.
So that just bugs you right away on the
So
topic.
you're saying that what are you trying to say? What do you think they should do going forward? If
I had the answer, honestly,
you'd be a very wealthy man,
I would be
sure.
very wealthy, and I don't say I have the answer. All I'm saying is they don't, and their plan is not being implemented very well, and it's a disaster. That it could get it's getting ugly now, but I think it's only beginning. It's going to get worse before it gets better, which is a scary idea.
Now, do you think going forward, obviously, if it doesn't get any better, if they aren't able to patch these roadblocks up, I guess, they're either going to have to repeal or move on to something else? I mean, obviously, the status quo isn't going to work if the website can't. Or do you think that maybe the website gets up and running in a week or two and this all blows over?
That'd be a positive way to look at it. I mean,
a
honestly,
positive way.
hopefully that happens. If I had that much conviction that it would, I would be lying to you if I told you I did.
Okay.
But
All right, well.
So we're not able to get access to the videos?
I don't know. It does not look like that. One video
That is a bummer.
is coming up. The first video is
We could
basically
act out
a
the
recap.
video.
We could act out the video.
shall we?
No. The recap was I saw a video just of the president reminding everybody and campaigning on the promise that you'd be able to keep your health care. And now it turns out that they found an internal memo And this was on NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams last night. They found an internal memo that where the White House knew ahead of time, as of early as 2010, that 40 to 60% of Americans were probably not going to be able to keep their coverage. So are they embroiled? Is this going to turn into a big scandal? Did the president not know this? Did he not see that memo? What do you guys think? Maybe was he lying on purpose? I don't want to go, we don't have to.
That's a bit yet to come. I mean, you got to expect that kind of thing. Once something comes to light, you're going to look at, who digs these things out? Is I guess the question that I would ask too, is like when you have these memos that are coming up, how does a memo like that get leaked? Obviously, I would think that if it did get leaked, then it was not something they didn't want to get leaked.
All we can do is sit and take each issue. I mean, is this a lie? Is this the truth? Like, you got to just ask your source, and that's the only way to get to the bottom of that. Right. But what do you, just you're on one side or the other at that point.
I just can't get my mind off Sasquatch, to be completely honest with you.
When you're staring at him all night, it can be hard.
Yeah, Sasquatch, he's here. He's coming. Don't worry about it. All right, moving on from healthcare. I guess maybe we're not the most qualified of talking heads on that subject. There's a little bit of a weird story out in Nashville that I think.
Here we go.
Not so fast, Tyler.
If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance. If you like your doctor or healthcare plan, you can keep it. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep it. If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it. If you like the insurance plan you have now, you can keep it. So if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, keep your plan. If you like your current insurance, you will keep your current insurance. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you're happy with what you got, nobody's changing it.
That was the video compilation, the first one, just showing, reminding everybody what the campaign promise was, as well as the, obviously, that was candidate Obama at first, and then
Many middle-class Americans who buy their own health insurance, there could be another frustration, and that is sticker shock. After some learn they must buy new policies that cover more but cost more as well. NBC's Peter Alexander at the White House for us tonight. Peter, good evening.
Brian, good evening. After weeks of questions about whether the Obamacare website could be fixed and when, many policy experts say that is masking what is the real issue here, how much these plans will actually cost. It was one of President Obama's key selling points for his new health care law.
If you've got health insurance, it doesn't mean a government takeover. You keep your own insurance. You keep your own doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
But in Los Angeles, that isn't what Deborah Cavallaro is finding. A self-employed realtor, she buys her own insurance. Cavallaro's provider recently sent her this notice, reading, because of the requirements of the new laws, we can no longer offer your current policy.
All I want is what I currently have. I want to keep my doctors, and I would like to have lower premiums.
The insurance company is offering her a new plan that would cost $484 a month versus her current $293 premium, a 65% increase. Why so much more? The Affordable Care Act requires that all plans include 10 essential health benefits, from maternity care to pediatric services. The administration points out many people will get subsidies to help offset the higher costs. And most traditional employer-based and government plans that roughly 80% of Americans rely on will not be affected. That millions will lose or have to change their individual policies is not a surprise to the administration. NBC News senior investigative correspondent Lisa Myers found buried in the 2010 Obamacare regulations language predicting a reasonable range for the percentage of individual policies that would terminate is 40% to 67%. Health policy expert Bob Lashevsky says the new rules make it difficult to carry over an old plan with less comprehensive coverage.
The problem with Obamacare and where we are at now is the Obama administration has decided to implement this in a really rigid way.
And White House officials insist they have always said insurance policies could change to offer more benefits. And to emphasize the affordability, tonight the administration says nearly half of all uninsured single young adults could get health coverage for $50 a month, Brian, or less.
Peter Alexander at the White House for us tonight. Peter, thanks. Oh.
I mean, my skin. I haven't had my skin on.
All right. Well, that's
Wow.
kind of speaks for itself there.
Indeed.
What thoughts on that? I mean, obviously the White House, that internal memo which showed that they knew 40 to 67% of people were going to lose their coverage, and they came out and said, you blanketly across the board keep your coverage. If you like your coverage, you can keep your coverage. We saw that in the earlier video. If you like your coverage, you can keep your coverage. But apparently, if you can be in love with your coverage, and if it's not the right coverage, then it's not. You can't keep your coverage anymore.
Well, you can promise anything. You can promise anything to get approval, and
Sure.
then if no one's holding you accountable for coming through on your promise, then you don't have to.
Okay.
And I don't think that enough people call their congressmen, call their congresswomen. Oh, we have a caller? Do we have a caller?
Do we have a
call?
call?
To piggyback real quick off of Bobby,
do have a
when
caller,
he's
though.
saying,
Go
piggyback off
ahead.
of you real quick, it's definitely true. It takes you take a good hard look at that as far as, okay, yeah, go to the caller.
So
Sorry,
you
I want
guys,
to keep it
yeah. So basically, you think it's a matter of accountability.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Jeff is on the line with us. Can we hear Jeff? 1 minute, Jeff. Jeff is coming up. So it's a matter of accountability, like you were saying.
Right. And it's a matter, it goes back to, what I was going to say is back to when it was first coming out and introducing Obamacare to the country. They said, oh, well, it's too long. You got to pass it right now. It's too long to get into.
Does
You
the
can't read
ends
it all."
justify the means? Okay, so if
He's back.
Jeff is
Okay.
back, we got Jeff. I have a question for Jeff. But Jeff, go ahead.
Working on it.
Jeff is almost on the line. Jeff is off the line. Now, if in the end of it all, say 5 years down the line, the website rollout is screw up, long dead news, and some people's premiums have gone up, some people's have gone down, but in the end, you get the desired effect of virtually all Americans having health care coverage that they can afford, Does that end justify the means of if the president did in fact purposely lie to sell this legislation? Caller, Jeff is back. Jeff, are you
I
there?
don't believe you.
We'll find out.
Are you there, Jeff? It's me, Margaret.
Jeff, are you okay?
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi.
Welcome, Jeff. Jeff, what do you guys think? Does that justify if the
Live call. Oh,
live call in?
Oh.
Yes, again, if you want to be a part of the show, please call us at
Do better than Jeff.
616-459-4881.
We're just hanging out.
We're
We're just hanging out.
You are part of the discussion. I should have said that from the get-go when we were thanking everybody for joining us. We are live.
Can we Skype? Are we able to Skype? We should start Skyping.
Skype might be above, a little above our pay grade. Would somebody give me a straight answer? I want to hear what you think.
Do the ends justify the means?
Does the end justify the means of the hypothetical ends of covering nearly all Americans? Nobody ever said all from the get-go. But lying to a few in the middle who might have to pay a little more now, and they're finding that out, and this is kind of an uncomfortable growing pain where, oh crap, now I have to do an extra $100 and some odd dollars a month, or $200 a month, or wait a minute, now I got to buy this whole thing, or is this an uncomfortable growing pain, or is this socialism and la-da-da? I don't know. Not to paint it in those terms. You can paint it in your own terms.
I don't really have
Paint it in your
many
own
colorful terms that I would use.
I think we lost Jeff.
I think we lost Jeff.
We never had Jeff. Let's be real. We never had Jeff.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I mean, it goes. I mean,
Continue. You can
yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Comes down to, once again, do you really trust what they're, I mean, if they're going to lie to you here and lie to you there, when do the lies stop? That's what you got to ask. They had to do this in order to get it passed through, was lie. Well, if you had to lie to get it through, it wasn't a good plan right to start. That doesn't, that's not,
People just don't want to be lied.
that's not the government we want. We want a very reflective government. We want to know, we should be able to be involved with, what they're doing and know things before they just shove it down your throat. That doesn't sound like a fair.
Oh, please don't say that's my least favorite.
Shove it down your throat. Come on,
talking points. Everybody's
that's fair.
Shove down the
That's fair.
There's one thing anybody knows. The first thing you learn about the healthcare debate, when you even find out there is one, is that half the country thinks it was shoved down their throat. Oh, shoved down my throat. It was shoved down my throat. It's just, sorry, you touched a nerve there. I mean, I'm not saying I actually disagree with you, but just anyway. All right, well, I guess we lost Jeff, and then we've covered, and the NSA now, if you'd like to call in about that and give us your 2 cents. I guess if you'd like to 3-way call in about that.
It'd be a 4-way.
If you'd like to call in and say anything at all,
then please feel more than welcome to. Again, our number is 459-4881 with a 616 area code. Calling about the healthcare, calling about the Snowden files. But I'd like to move on here for a little bit of my favorite piece of news of the evening is kind of a weird one from a day or so ago out of Nashville. Now, I don't know if you guys know about Nashville, but it's a little town in flyover country, Tennessee. But they got an airport there, a pretty major one. I was just being coy. But the other day at about, well, I'll let the clip speak for itself. Do we have the clip? This is some fun, kind of mysterious, weird news. I want to see what you guys think might have happened here. People are at a loss. It's just a minute, so we can pull that up.
Sasquatch is real. Let's be honest here.
We're not. We were waiting.
Sasquatch.
We're waiting for Sasquatch. We'll get to Sasquatch. You guys are gonna start getting all the Sasquatch callers calling us in before their time. We'll get there.
Get there.
Let's get to this.
If you're a Sasquatch caller, stand by.
If you're a Sasquatch caller, yeah.
Stand by. Get your phone ready.
One runway. Sources tell News Channel 5 a flight taking off around 9 this morning noticed debris on 2 Center. That's when airport officials discovered a single-engine Cessna 172 had crashed, killing the pilot on board. From Sky 5 HD, you can see a charred area around the plane, which may explain why it wasn't smoldering just minutes after Metro Police and Nashville Fire responded to the scene. Sources say the pilot may be from Canada and may have attempted flying VFR, or Visual Flight Rules, which means relying on sight instead of the plane's instruments, and kept radio silence with air traffic controllers. There is no word from officials on how the dense fog could have played into the crash. Airport officials, the FAA, and NTSB are all investigating.
So how about that? How about the plane crash?
How does that happen?
When they're searching every cavity on the way in, but they're
How
not
does that happen?
looking at.
That a plane crashes and no one notices for hours at an airport. Plane crashes at an airport.
The first time when you told me that, the first thing I thought was that like you could have seen it from the airport waiting rooms where you're just sitting waiting for a flight. They're all covered in windows. You had to have been able to see a flaming fireball.
I was waiting for the punchline. I was waiting like, okay, this is on the Onion. Where's the second tab to the story? And then you never said it, and I was like, wait, this is real. This is
weird.
really.
And the identity of the pilot still hasn't been released. Now you can chalk that up to it's a fresh story. Maybe they want to notify the family of the deceased first, but
They would have came out and said that probably.
there's no radio for help. There's no Mayday. There's no there's no ID yet. There's no witnesses. They don't see it until 8:30 the next morning. They find the hull of the ship and say, wait a minute. I want just a wild theory. Give me a shot in the dark, Paul.
What happened?
Yeah, I want to hear.
All right. Well, this is what happened.
Paint me a scenario.
There was a spaceship.
Okay.
Looking.
All right.
I mean,
by all means. No, go ahead.
By any other way you look at it, how can you go after that story? It's mind-boggling with today's. It's 2013 with the terrorism and everything. Well, that sums it up. It's like you go into the airport. If anyone's flown recently, the last 10 years, plus, you know how it is to get onto an airplane. So for one to crash and blow up and a pilot to die.
Do you think this was a
no one saw it? That's
And to be in an airport's airspace, I mean, it didn't just land near the airport and no one noticed, which would have been newsworthy enough. It landed in the middle of the runways, crashed, and not a peep, no one? But I don't know.
my only guess was it was a spaceship and the aliens, and they deleted everybody's memory really fast, and then one person saw it and somehow got away with the story. That's what else could have happened? To be honest, what do you think, Dinosaur?
I think that's more accurate than I was going to say. So I'm actually going to jump ship and go to your argument because I think that's what you should do when someone presents you with a better argument than yours.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think that it could have been very likely a spaceship that crashed to Earth.
I have a theory. I think that if anything comes back out of this story, you'll find out this guy was up to no good, or he had another idea on him or something. I'm thinking that you don't radio for help, you don't do anything. You know, it was, something different. Single-engine Cessnas, give me the willies anyway.
Single-engine Cessnas don't seem.
Yes, single-engine Cessnas, they just set the highway and move for me.
That little bike thing that you drive around town.
Yeah, it is, only in the air. It's like driving, a single-engine Cessna is the moped of airspace. You're just taking your own life. You're taking your life into your own hands every time you get in one. Bear that in mind. And they might not even find you for 5 hours.
They might not.
Okay, so you guys have been itching at the trigger here for this. I'll show now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You know, Bigfoot has been. Well, before we actually lead into the Bigfoot sighting video that we've got going on, can we pull up the map? It's open at the bottom. We had a map.
A map.
There's a big Bigfoot map, a sightings map, and it shows for the last 92 years that they've had Bigfoot sightings have been being reported. Somebody found this information, and they looked, and somebody had painstakingly put in all the geographical points and everything else, and very specifically, and this guy said, well, hang on a second, this would be really easy to scan into a computer, change a few things, this, that, or the other, and he's got a visual representation, I think somebody at Penn State, of all 3,100, I should have let you guess the numbers, but now you know, 3,119 or so Bigfoot sightings have been seen in the United States in the last 92 years. Is that like 100 a year or something like that, or at least 10? How many is that?
It's the most popular hoax in the
Not
world.
100 a year. The most popular. So you're already a skeptic.
No, I think no, definitely not. I mean, Bigfoot is out there.
You said popular hoax, though.
It's popular to hoaxify. You know. Oh,
there's our map right there.
Oh, wow.
As you can clearly see, a few things of interest are that is how very, very dense the Pacific Northwest is.
Look at that.
And it's very, very rural out there. The big takeaway from the map that I was able to get was that Bigfoot's pretty shy. It's kind of what
you know what? I think if you might want to do a correlation between the Bigfoot and exactly the amount of LSD consumption happens in the same area.
Washington and Portland up there. Yeah.
Washington and Portland. The weird thing about the Pacific Northwest is that it's relative to a lot of the rest of the places, is that it's really sparsely populated. And the regions where the most frequent sightings of Sasquatch
are usually densely populated.
Are very often just the opposite. There's hardly anybody is around.
Right.
So but then if you have a really densely populated area, Sasquatches seem to kind of avoid that. But anyway,
I saw
thought
the
that
Easter
map
Bunny
was
on
interesting.
Duracell commercials. So, and I know he's real. So
The
if
Easter
Bunny
Bunny
is real, Sasquatch can be real.
Okay.
Sasquatch
We've got a
is
couple
actually on the beef
skeptics
jerky
here tonight.
commercials.
Yeah, the Jack mix.
Yeah.
We can, I guess, go to that video and let the new video speak for itself, I suppose.
Bigfoot caught on tape.
Bigfoot caught on tape.
It's much better than the swingy arms one.
Yeah, it's a much better quality video than Swinging Arms from the 60s, the famous one from the 60s that we're all familiar with. But this video was just shot earlier this month. The man is actually
Finally, some decent photos of this legendary creature. But two at once? And wait, DNA samples? Okay, here's the story. A man was driving with his girlfriend through Kinzua State Park near Bradford, Pennsylvania, when he spotted something that looked like 2 7-foot bears in the woods. He slowed down and took these pictures. It's amazing how all these pictures of Bigfoot exist throughout history, but not ever, not once, has there ever been a clear picture. So the man who took these photos was 57-year-old John Stoneman, and here's what he had to say. I'm a skeptic myself. I'm not a believer. But this was not a bear, and you can see fur on it. It's wider at the shoulders and tapers down, whereas a bear is bigger in the middle and stands differently with its paws out. This was standing like a man, like a Bigfoot. At first, some people have discredited it and said it was just a root ball at the bottom of a fallen tree. But I've been back to the exact spot, and there is no root ball there. We do have black bears, but they are considerably smaller than this, and it was standing about 7 foot tall. This was 200 yards from the road. It was too narrow for me to be able to pull over without stopping traffic, but I got as many pictures as I could. I actually dropped the camera casing, so I couldn't see what I had got until I got home and put them on my computer. I was surprised at what I saw. It looks more like a Bigfoot than anything else. I've already had organizations asking me to send copies for verification. This area is known for Bigfoot sightings, but this was the first time I've seen anything like this. I'm in the woods every week. I go hunting, hiking. I went back to the exact spot where it had been, and nothing was there. Just years and years of beliefs on the floor. So just yesterday, some researchers at a conference in Dallas, Texas, publicly stated that they have DNA evidence that Bigfoot exists. This has been a 5-year study called the Sasquatch Genome Project, which has already spent about $500,000 collecting data. So now we just have to wait and see the results. So my logical side is feeling very skeptical right now. Alarm bells are going off saying that this is just some big publicity stunt. But then again, my imaginative, more adventurous side is crossing my fingers. I mean, can you imagine if Bigfoot did exist throughout all these years? How many are there? Are they intelligent? I can't wait to see what happens next.
It was a Canadian, a Jew, or anybody else that designed this sucker.
Right.
My only point was that
Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
Well,
So the
was it a tree stump? Did the guy lie? What do you? I mean, do you believe the witness there, Mr. The Stone, I think his name was?
The dinosaur guest was just put on the screen, so I guess that means it's my turn to talk because I am the dinosaur and
You
I
are
am the
the
guest.
dinosaur
And I
guest.
believe that if fake is the best Bigfoot costume yet made and is around Halloween. I don't know, when was that those pictures taken?
The video
Because
was from early October.
It was from early October?
Sasquatch is often seen in the autumn.
I think that we could look at this in a more positive way, and we could say that either, is Bigfoot real or fake? And, if you think that Bigfoot is a hoax, then your first inclination is to say that these people are wasting their time, making this ridiculous hoax that happens all over the country. But we could say it's just who can make the most convincing costume of Bigfoot? Who can take a picture that is just clear enough that it teases me, and I go, is that Bigfoot? I don't believe in Bigfoot, but that really looks like Bigfoot. So
Right.
then, when is somebody really gonna, take the gloves off and do the full face makeup and really shoot a Bigfoot hoax video that I can believe in? Where is the everyman's Bigfoot?
The everyman's
I mean,
Bigfoot.
is it Bigfoot, or could you just call it just the very beastly man in the woods? That's basically all Bigfoot is. It's just a beastly man, monkey, gorilla figure. Could just be a man who lives in the woods, comes out and seen, doesn't want to be
Very fuzzy
seen,
person, right?
doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want any trouble.
Hermits.
He, lives in the woods.
He's
He
minding
minds
his own business.
and then bam, he's seen. He's out there now.
I guess if you lived in the woods and you were a true, like, fervent, manic naturalist, you probably would.
That's not what Bigfoot wants. Sorry.
You know, I'm sorry, but I got geeked out today. I wanted to represent. You know, maybe so you're saying that it could be just a hermit, probably out there wearing. But
No.
would the same? Why would this hermit exhibit the same pattern of behaviors for 92 some odd years? And how is this hermit spread off over through the Pacific Northwest and then all down the Appalachian Trail and whatnot?
You're assuming there's just one Bigfoot? Is that what you're trying to assume? You think?
I don't. You think is this a common mental illness to run off into the woods and coat yourself in furs and grow 7 feet tall and leave really big footprints?
7 feet tall is always.
They're typically 7 feet tall. Yeah, around 7 feet tall seems to be the average
I can
adult
believe
male.
7 feet or 7 minutes.
You know, I once read, there was some comedian that you reminded me of when you were saying you want to see the face, who said, I think it might have been Dimitri Martin, but I don't want to misattribute the quote, but he said maybe Sasquatch is just blurry.
Oh.
And that all of those pictures are
as clear as you can get,
on,
but yeah, right. But he's just
because he moves so fast and so swiftly. Yeah, sure. You can't get it quick.
Pretty fast for a 7 foot tall fella. Well, I think that, you know, that is.
I would, you know, I mean, I don't think there's much else to say on Bigfoot other than, you know, if you've got the skills, then I suggest that you put together an even more convincing hoax, because you will get a lot of attention, and everyone will.
I think we need to call.
Watch
We need
your
one
video.
person to call in and tell us exactly.
Yeah,
the
don't
video.
forget.
Tell us
the
your
number
Bigfoot
is
stories.
459-4881. Call in anytime. And I understand that. Our apologies.
Calls are not
No
working.
calls. Oh,
Well-
no calls are working right now. No calls are currently possible for this show.
Send us an email.
Unfortunate,
Send us an email.
yes.
We'll touch on it next
Shoot
week.
us, yes, if you've got any of these ideas you want to further discuss, whether it's the NSA stuff, Sasquatch, the mystery plane, healthcare. I know we didn't.
Yes.
I know people want to keep beating that horse as much as we can. You can always find us on Facebook. Facebook us at CTV. And you know it's Devil's Night, you guys.
That is the case.
And Halloween is tomorrow night, and I
Yeah.
thought it would be
Don't
appropriate.
vandalize
I left-
anything.
Well, yes.
Don't
let's-
be. Yeah.
Don't
Go
vandalize
ahead,
things.
Dirt Dog, all you
All
other
right, person.
vandals and people out there. You know, save the toilet paper for you know where you're gonna need it. Maybe donate those eggs to a shelter or somebody who can
pantry,
use them.
yeah.
Don't throw them at your neighbor's house. That's a very good public reminder. But I wanted to I've left a little time here at the end to get a little spooky if you guys wanted to.
Oh,
We've got a
well.
few minutes here. I understand.
Spooky ghost
Are we gonna have a
stories.
dance party?
No, not
we
a
have
dance
Hot Chip
party. We were
Feud?
gonna have a little bit of
Can we
a.
play some Hot Chip?
No, we can tell a ghost story though if you guys would.
Oh, a ghost story.
You guys know any ghost
I
stories?
mean,
I thought we might have some callers.
I'm sure the
calling
dinosaur's
ghost stories.
seen a few ghosts in his years.
Or any kind of
I-
supernatural or paranormal encounter that, since while we're on the topic of mystery planes and Sasquatch.
How closely related are ghosts and UFOs? I mean, it's kind of along the
I don't
same.
If you have a UFO story, you know, I think that is it your UFO story or both of your UFO story?
I just have a passion for UFOs because I've seen them a few times.
Tell us about You know, I think a lot of Bigfoot sightings kind of happen. It's like you're powering along, you're just going along.
And then a video comes on, and it's a
then all of
Bigfoot in front of
sudden,
you.
Bigfoot, what's going on? And then, wait, where'd he go? Before you even have a second to read. You were saying, Alex, that, excuse me, Paul, that you saw a UFO. Was this when you were in space, or this is on the...
No, this is when I was on the beach. But first, I would state, UFO as sometimes confused. Take the definition: unidentified flying object.
You saw a
So
flying
by no
object,
means am I just going to
sure.
start in on aliens, because that's a different debate. But UFOs, clearly you see stuff, and they're a lot of times seen at night for whatever reason. but it's easier to see things higher up, I'd say, glowing,
It's easier
whatever.
to see with these on, I think.
Oh, with these, yeah. I was probably wearing these, but UFOs clearly exist because see, there's videos and they show and who's manning them, who knows. But if you say that UFOs aren't
Let's hear a
not real.
story. Let's hear a story of when you saw them.
I was on the beach.
What did you see?
I was on the
Make
beach.
us afraid. Make us afraid to go
Oh,
to
I
sleep
mean,
tonight.
it's not going to make you
I wanna-
afraid. It was not a scary story. I was on the beach. I was with my fiance at the time. We're out. We're looking at the stars. We're just enjoying a normal evening. We're right on the beach of Grand Haven, and just stargazing. And I've seen plenty of shooting stars. I've been up north in great town of Kalkaska up there, and I've seen great, amazing shooting stars. But this was something else. It came in real quick, and it wasn't any noise. Obviously, it just came in, and it was shot in real quick, and then it shot the other way.
Now, what kind of angle are you talking?
I'm talking. It came across the sky, and then it kind of shot back diagonal.
Okay.
So.
That's interesting.
I mean,
you said you're in Kalkaska?
No, I was in Grand Haven, right on the beach of Grand Haven.
So you saw one in Grand Haven. Did you log it? You
I don't know any. I'm not a log blog kind of guy.
Yeah.
No, sir.
What about you, dinosaur? In your 60 million years on the planet?
I've seen everything there is to see.
Obviously.
And I can tell you that Bigfoot exists and UFOs do not. I think that there are a lot of spacecraft that we don't understand fully, but
so are those UFOs by definition.
Because they're unidentified.
Yes.
But okay, well they are
We're talking about
unidentified, yes.
UFOs.
But are they manned by aliens? No, I don't believe that they are manned by aliens.
No,
Paul, I'll be honest with you. I don't think though that Halloween has much to do with aliens. I think Halloween has a little bit more to do with ghosts. And
ghosts. You have a ghost story?
I do have a ghost story. Yes, I have a ghost story.
Well, you've got a few minutes here.
In the home that I was dwelling in for about 10,000 years, it was built by me and my family in the north part of Grand Rapids. There were some noises and things that we would hear occasionally. We'd have guests report that they saw things in the corner of their eye. And there was one night when I was sleeping with my blanket, which was knit for me by my wife, pulled over me to the shoulder. And as I woke up, I felt the blanket pulled down all the way off of me down to the floor. And my reaction to that, as should be yours if you encounter a ghost, was just kind of complacent and accepting. Because if you see something you don't understand, I think that the only thing you can do by reacting negatively and screaming is incite that thing you don't understand to lash out. So if you think that there's ghosts in your house, I definitely don't think that you should be afraid. I think that you should kind of be accepting and saying, ghost, we can live in this space together. You obviously have a reason that you're in my cave and playing with me to pull the blanket off, but I don't blame you for that. If I was a ghost, I would probably play with people like that too.
The ghost is probably there first. Who can argue? Who can argue with the ghost?
I don't know. Do ghosts predate dinosaurs? That's a kind of a chicken and the egg.
Dinosaur
kind of
ghosts
question
don't.
there. I guess there could have been a dinosaur ghost.
Could have been.
Could the ghost have been an alien? Who's to say it was or wasn't?
Or a Sasquatch. Could have also been a Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
All right. Well, I guess. Well, yeah, that's right. We can't take phone calls. I was looking to see. Thought we had a caller, but it's not quite what's going on. Well, happy Halloween, everybody.
What's on your mind? Just anything.
Anything on my mind?
What are you doing after this?
Real
you got
talk.
Any plans?
Oh, well, we've got a few minutes.
We're all grouping
Where you
up
headed?
people.
Everybody else told theirs. I'll tell mine. I saw a UFO the other day, and
Recently?
yeah, it was like a month or two ago, and I was on the northeast beach on Houghton Lake, and I was looking off. I was enjoying a drink with my girlfriend and a friend of ours, and they were looking off in the one direction. I was looking off in the other. And there appeared to me, in the blink of an eye, a bright green streak, very electrical, a bright green flash, and it shot through the sky. And it wasn't a northern light, it wasn't lightning, it was a clear sky. It never made a sound, and it was very, very weird. It kind of gives me the chills just to think about it now and recount it to you, even in that just not very detailed encounter. And I don't know what it was, and I went to look up at the UFO sighting.
That's where it gets good.
And this is where it gets good, because there've been other sightings of these bright green flashes. They just last half a second.
So, sir,
all over
sir,
Michigan.
did you log it? Is that what you're saying?
I actually, you know what? I didn't, Paul Jupiter. I did not.
Oh.
I did not write it down.
You got to do that. You got to carry moleskin.
But I asked the other two. Well, I mean, log it on the UFO website or whatever with all the other ones. I did write it down.
So in our combined, 53 years of life, we've
Short,
seen 2 UFOs. Yet this dinosaur, billions of years old, has never seen one.
I've seen them. I've seen so many that I understand.
And I will
what
note
they
that
are.
the other two people with me did not see it directly, but they did see the green flash that accompanied it and turned to look. So it was not my imagination. If it was all 3 of ours. And they would tell you the same thing. So
Halloween Spooktacular.
Halloween Spooktacular. Thank you all so much for joining us at home or on the internet for our Weird and Wild Halloween Spooktacular 2013 contemporary podcast and other wacky wonders. Remember, it's going to rain tomorrow, so if you're going trick or treating,
get to bed
stay dry. Or get to bed.
Get to bed because you got a big day tomorrow. You need to rest if you're going trick or treating.
If you're going trick or treating.
That toilet paper is going to be really gross with all this rain.
Check us out. If you don't have any plans, the first 3 people who find me outside the intersection tonight at the Polish Ambassador show and come up to me and ask me to buy them a ticket, I will buy the first 3 people a ticket. They're $15. It's a crazy dance party, a lot of fun.
So we've got a ticket giveaway.
We got a ticket giveaway.
I don't even know if we've still got audio.
First 3 people.
We've got a ticket giveaway.
If we still got audio, yeah, check it out.
I think so. If we still
First
do
3 that come out.
And keep
We'll be
your
there at
hands.
9 o'clock, 9 to 9:15.
Seated. Keep your hands inside the vehicle, until
the
the ride has come to a complete stop. Coffee, if I drink too much coffee, I won't be able to sleep tonight. And I've already got all those stories of UFOs and whatnot in my head.
What's the funniest thing you ever wore for Halloween?
The funniest thing I ever wore for Halloween was the year I cross-dressed as like a 12-year-old just because my dad was like, why are you here? I was like, I don't know, I thought it was probably a woman. He's like, what are they?
Yeah. But he was pretty disturbed by that, knowing TJ.
Is that what we are?
Yeah.
So, and that was, I think, I don't know if I was 11 or 12. I might have been 13 or 14.
What about you, Bobby? Did you have anything cool?
Nothing cool. I've never been anything cool for Halloween.
I didn't suspect you would. You're a dinosaur.
Every year of my adult life now, I just go as Simon Goat with my girlfriend, and it's perfect because no one reckons it's a sheet. The costume's already made, one sheet, a couple holes, sewn into it, and you can kind of go out and be, participate in the whole Halloween ritual and look like something.
All right. Well, we're gonna be off any second. Thanks for watching, everybody.
But at the same time, kind of have this intimate night together because you got this sheet over you, and like no.